Hey, what is up YouTube? I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my Chaos Dragons deck. I've been playing this deck for 6 months, so it's not really much played anymore, but I really do like the deck and it's just been really fun for me. So I'll go ahead and show you how I run it. It's probably the same as most builds. So we have one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Of course, he's the heart of the deck. You can special summon him by banishing a face-up dragon from your field. And once per turn, you can special summon a dragon from your hand or your graveyard. So he's really cool, 28 beater. Just the heart of the deck, really good. And we have Light Pulsar. You can special summon him by banishing a light and dark from your graveyard. And you can also summon him from your graveyard by sending a light and a dark from your hand. So he's very easy to get out, 25 beater. You combine him with Red Eyes. So when Pulsar dies, you get level 5 or higher from your graveyard, and you can special summon it. Level 5 or higher Dark Dragon. So if Red Eyes is in your graveyard, then you can special summon Red Eyes, and then Red Eyes can bring back Pulsar, and it's just a big loop in a wall. I run 3 Dark Flare Dragons. I think most people run 2, and when I first started the build, I also ran 2. It was after Future Fusion was banned, so not many people run 3. I find that running 3 is pretty good for me. It helps me swarm a lot, and it just lets me go into rank 5s a lot easier to get over any cards that might be a bigger bigger attack card than what I can get over. And one Eclipse, when he's sent to the graveyard, you can banish a card from Dragon that's level 7 or higher from your deck, and when he's banished from the graveyard, you can get that dragon and put it into your hand. So he's needed to search out Red Eyes or Dark Arm Dragon. Also, I forgot to mention, he's really good with Flare. If you draw him, it's kind of a bad thing, but you still get the effect whether it's sent from the field or maybe like you exceed with him. But whenever you send to the graveyard you can do like Dark Flare, you still get his effect. So Dark Flare can send a dead Wyvern to the graveyard if it's in your hand, and you can also banish a card from either graveyard, so it's really helpful. And with the limited cards, we have one BLS. I mean, why wouldn't you run it? One Honest. Again, you kind of need it because you have the Pulsars and you just have a lot of light targets, and it combines really well with BLS. One Dark Arm Dragon, very easy to control your graveyard, so he's not very hard to summon. And one Chaos Sorcerer. Again, it's just a weaker version of BLS, but he's still really good. And for hand traps, we have double Trag and one Gores. So you don't run any magics, or you run a lot of magics, but you don't run any traps. So Gores will always be alive unless you're, one hit from being dead, one attack from being dead. Again, Trag is really good with Card Trooper, which you run in the deck. It's a really big wall if you have a hand, and usually I find that if I have Card Trooper and Tragodian in my hand, it's a really good opening play. And you can also copy stars of monsters from the graveyard, so really good to go into Exceeds. And since this is level 10 and Red Eyes is also level 10, you can also use Gustav Max, which is, I use it sometimes, but it is a really good card. I like to use it. It's just fun. So Trag is really good. You can also pitch cards from your hand to take control of monsters, which is very helpful. So here's my tour guide engine. So tour guide, tour bus, and also a Night Assailant. This used to be Sangan, but since Sangan got banned now, using Night Assailant. And not many people use tour bus either, but I just like the graveyard control. So you can send like maybe a BLS or a Dark Arm back into your deck. And one play I actually had was, I had a Dark Arm in my grave, and these two were sent to the graveyard for like Pulsar, or maybe he went to Mayo and popped both of these on the field. So this got Dark Arm back into my deck, and this removed Dark Arm. And then next turn I just banished for like Pulsar or Dark Flare, and then I got my Dark Arm back and I used it. So it was a really good play. It was really funny too. Some more hand traps. 2 Veilers, you just need these just to keep up with and stop plays. 1 Phantom of Chaos. Again, not many people run this, but I find this really useful to recycle cards like BLS or Dark Arm. It's 1 games, or you can use it to like banish Lila and just get that extra backfield control. Just a lot of utility with this card. I find it very helpful. And 2 Card Troopers. Again, the deck relies on milling a lot, so Card Troopers really a good card for this. And also when it gets destroyed, you get to draw a card, so combined with Trag, it's just very useful. I run triple Lilas. Just again for the backfield hate. You got to get over deep prisons and eats bottomless and solemns and stuff like that. So it's a really good card. Run double Rykos just for like macro and again backfield control, or maybe big cards I can't get over. And it's also a mill 3 like all the other Lice ones. I take a Aaron. I find it helps me a lot. Mostly against like Gachis and Zen mains and also other defensive cards that usually put in defense and you can't get over. Like Marshmallow or the Fool or Reaper. So that's it for the monster lineup. And for magics, we have double solar recharge. I used to run it at 3, but I wanted to make extra room for some extra cards. I used to run 3 of these and 1 Trag and 1 Gores, and I really wanted to put the extra Trag in, so I just took out a recharge. I thought it'd be better, and it's been working really well for me. Triple MST again for the back row hate, and against macro decks is just you need it. Macro really hurts the deck, so gotta have that backfield protection from that backfield. Land, same reason. And then staple magics: Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Charge, Monster Reborn. So it's a 40 card deck. I like it. Sometimes you draw bad hands, but what deck doesn't draw bad hands? And it's just, I don't know, I think it's a really fun deck to play, and I really like it. And I'll show you my extra deck. We have 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I slide in the Cyber Dragons just for those machine decks like Fortress or Gadgets. Is just really hard to play against Machina Fortress, so this is kind of your out to it. 1 Catastor, 1 Black Rose. So it's actually pretty easy to make Catastor and Black Rose. I wouldn't say pretty easy, but you have a lot of level 4s and you have a lot of level 6, and you have that Veeler, so it is easy. You just have to have a Light Pulsar, or you have to have like a Lila or whatever level 4 you have on the field, and you can just sink into these. These I put in because I was playing against Frogs, and then if they get out Obelisk, it's really hard to get over Obelisk. It's pretty much impossible in this deck unless you draw like a Dark Hole. So these are kind of like outs to Obelisk when I was playing Frogs. 1 Levy of the Sea Dragon. You have a lot of banishing, so you need this card. 1 Zen mains for protection. Dijin. Tempo. Again, it's kind of like a staple. You need it. Leviathan Dragon. Again, another staple, especially since it's a dragon. You can just banish this for red eyes, and it's just really easy to go off. 1 Queen Dijin. She special summons a dragon from the graveyard. Its effects negated, and it can't attack that turn, but you use this to bring out like maybe a Light Pulsar, and when they destroy it, you can get a red eyes back or whatever you have in your graveyard. She's also good if you want to like I use it for flare sometimes, and it lets me go into 5s pretty easily. Abyss Dweller. Usually I use this against Dark World players. Not much else I really use it on. The Butterfly. Since it's a pretty much offensive deck, sometimes you have them defending, and it's just really good to kind of break their defenses and switch stuff to attack. 1 Adrius, which I will replace with Volcasaurus. But again, it's one of those things that you use to get over monsters that are really hard to get over. 1 Heretic Dragon King of Atom. If you have 2 Pulsars and you don't have your red eyes for whatever reason, you can always use him to summon Red Eyes, and then it just gets your field presence out. One Exabeetle. This is the funnest card I have ever used. But just two big plays with this, which makes me like it a lot. You used to be able to use it with Sangan, but it's banned now. And Sangan, you would get the effect because it just has to be sent from the field to the graveyard. Or you can combine it with Pulsar, and you can get your Red Eyes back. Also gives you a little bit of field control. And for the next card is Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. So essentially what he's for is, after you use these two effects, you're going to want to just overlay this with a Tum or Exabeetle and just kind of go for the kill. And last but not least, definitely not least, Gustav Max. Actually, not many Chaos Dragons run this. I don't even know if... I don't think anybody runs this, but with 2 Trags and a Red Eyes, it's not that hard to make, but I mean, it's a really good card, so I put him in. I had room. I took out my Giga Brilliant because I didn't really like it too much. But Gustav Max, an extra 2,000 burn and 3,000 beater is just, I find it really amazing. So that's my extra deck. And my side deck. I have 2 Max Cs. Just got to keep up with those decks I special summon a lot, like Wind-Ups back then, but they're kind of hit now, so I don't know about Wind-Ups anymore. I think they still might be somewhat good, but for Wind-Ups and what else? Like Abyss, DD Crow. I have a really tough matchup against Dark Worlds because it's just Grapha is 3,000, so really hard, and then they drag down all your cards and it just screws up your hand. So Crow is mostly for Grapha removal. A third Veeler for like Abyss and Firefist and just other decks that require negation of effects. Double Thunder Kings, decks that search, decks that synchro a lot, Exceed. I usually always side those in. Just really good cards to have. Triple Imps, again, with the locals I go to, there's a lot of Dark Worlds, so it is my worst matchup, so I do play triple Imps. Double Cyber Dragons, again for those machine decks. Kaiko was for mirror matches, so I might have to replace these probably, since not many decks really play like dragons anymore with the removal from graveyard. Triple Decree for trap heavy decks like rabbits, or your occasional chain burn and troll decks. So that's just to stop those. And that's pretty much the deck. So I've been having, I played a lot of test matches with this, and it does okay, but it's not really competitive anymore. It's definitely a fun deck to play, maybe like tier 2. But I don't think it's going to be winning any major tournaments, but I'm going to try and keep playing with it and adjusting it, and just going to try and keep it competitive with the new meta and see how it goes. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.